Hey, how are ya? My name is Lachlan Watt, and music is my life. Bit of a late episode this week because I've been slammed with all my other responsibilities, but nonetheless, I'm stoked to finally be getting this one out there. This episode's a fun, wholesome, and somewhat meta conversation, mostly about podcasting and music journalism. My guests are the lovely couple Owen and Paige MORAWITZ from a great alternative and heavy music-oriented podcast called The Pitch of Discontent. I've only known Paige since they moved down here to Melbourne, but I've been friends with Owen for close to 2 decades at this point. Back when we both lived in Brisbane, we used to frequent the same live music venues as both punters and employees, and spent a handful of years working together as writers for a magazine called Death Before Dishonor. I really enjoyed spending my Sunday afternoon hanging out with these two by bringing my podcast studio to theirs. My name is Lachlan Watt, music is my life, and now I give you my conversation with Owen and Paige MORAWITZ. Cheers. Owen and Paige, thank you for having me in your podcast space today.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thanks for having us on your podcast in our podcast.
My pleasure. So the Pitch of Discontent, it's a really great resource for discovering new music, alternative music, and you have lots of cool interviews with bands from all around the world. Particularly, I feel like lately you've been focusing a lot on like local up-and-coming bands, but tell us about the podcast, Owen. How long ago? You're like, what, 250 episodes in?
Yeah. We kind of juice the numbers a little bit by doing them like twice a week. So that's why it sounds so hectic. But we've been doing it, I think, in the beginning was like the end of 2022 is when we started doing it. And then we did a whole year of 2023 starting with guest interviews. You were one of our first guests, so thank you again for coming on the show. And then by the time we moved from the Gold Coast down here to Melbourne, we decided that we would up the production quality and try and go to video, which, as you know, is a whole endeavor in of itself. And we've been doing video.
A show than just a podcast.
Yeah. We've been doing that on YouTube since July 2024, so just over a year now. So there's like a couple of different eras of the show at this point.
Yeah, so Paige, you weren't always like a host, right?
I don't do the interviews because I'm not good at interviewing people. Like I'm mostly just there for someone to bounce off of on like our weekly roundup episodes. Right. And in the beginning mostly just showing Owen how to do a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So you have a background in like audio video production?
Yeah. I'm like every other kid that loved music and went and did like a TAFE course in sound engineering. And then never did anything with it.
Yeah. But it was also Paige who kind of came up with the idea of doing the podcast. So originally I was doing a newsletter on Substack, which I still do, but that kind of started as like a COVID project essentially. And I was finishing my uni degree and I was like, I want to write about music, but I don't want to have to like pitch publications and magazines and stuff. Like I'll just do my own shit. So I started doing like a weekly newsletter just talking about stuff that I was listening to and things that I liked. And Paige being, you know, my partner and supporter, she was like, you should read it to me. So then,
and also having ADHD, so I didn't want to have to read it myself.
So like I would sit on the couch and I would read the newsletter to her and like talk about this music. And then at some point she was like, we should just do this as a podcast. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's a good idea, but I want to be able to like play the music for people. I want people to be actually able to like listen to the stuff after they've like heard us talk about it. Mm. And then that's when we started as audio only on Spotify. They had the feature where you could make kind of the show as a playlist, which was really sick. and then Spotify fucked us over by getting rid of that feature. So like that's a whole thing, but that's kind of where it started.
Just like one of the many things that Spotify have done wrong.
Yeah, I got to say I do miss being able to listen to the podcast in that format where you had the full
It
full
was so
songs and
sick.
I could just skip the songs if I didn't want to listen to the whole
100%.
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was really,
Yeah.
really good. And I think a
miss
real kind of loss for them as a music streaming platform to not realize like the potential of that feature and like
Yeah.
creating shows around it. But whatever.
I
Not
guess
my
you could
choice.
still technically do it as like, but you wouldn't, I guess it would be a pain in the ass uploading like 100 different segments for one episode and making the playlist.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've thought about moving like some of the video stuff that we do on YouTube now to Spotify as well. But with like the licensing shit, like it would just become super complicated. And honestly, I'm kind of just jaded on Spotify in general. So
Have you moved over to listening on something else at this
I've
point?
started
or-
using YouTube Music,
Yeah.
which I think is because I'm on YouTube all the time for the show and also just in my like personal kind of viewing habits. So that makes the most sense. And they seem to have pretty much everything on there. I'm not a big Apple guy.
Yeah.
I've never used Tidal. Is Deezer still a thing? Like I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't know. I've signed up to YouTube Music because I thought that it was going to be the same as like YouTube Premium and take away the
Yeah.
ads, but
Mm.
it hasn't. So I
No.
was like
No.
a bit disappointed about that because I swear at least maybe they changed it, but months ago
It was
some
meant
friends
to
are
be.
talking about moving over to YouTube and it's like, hey, you get the YouTube Premium out of it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that sounds like a good deal.
I think we already have premium, right?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And then we have a business account. So
Yeah. But that's the one that I've been kind of gravitating to. And like I still upload stuff to Spotify because that's the kind of business we're in. You got to put stuff there for people to listen to it.
we
But
get that we have like an established base of people that started listening there.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
don't want to lose them.
I was so kind of annoyed. I started this podcast using the Spotify for Creators thing, and it was just really straightforward and really
Yep.
easy. And my band finally started getting some editorial playlist love from Spotify again, and then all like the AI weapons stuff and AI music shit just happened like straight after that, and it was like, fuck, and everyone's
Yeah.
jumping ship, and I'm like, oh,
Cool.
oh well.
yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. It
We-
took so long to get any, like we had direct contact with people at Spotify Australia and then they all got
They all disappeared.
fired.
Yep.
we
They all got
assumed.
shit canned. That whole
Yeah.
team like doesn't exist anymore. It was
Yeah.
just really weird. So like, I think I don't have too much insight into how they operate as a company, but the public perception is not great.
Yeah.
No, yeah. We are only contributing to the long list of bad things that people have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
say.
What do you think has been the biggest learning curve for you both about starting a podcast?
Oh, videography.
Yeah. I was never like a video editor. So like I've had to upskill to do all of that.
Yeah.
Mm.
And like Paige and I both have a background in audio. So
Mhm.
like we understand the basics of, you know, connecting up mics and using a mixing desk and all that sort of stuff. Like that's fairly self-explanatory. But then like you add in cameras, you add in lights, you add in the editing software, and suddenly what took me, you know, maybe a couple of hours to edit and produce is now like
A
day.
day of work.
Mm.
Yeah.
and then I'm sure you understand this, but then there's like the scheduling aspect of like trying to figure out like when you record something, how long it'll take you to edit, then to upload it, then to schedule out all of your social posts.
Oh,
to,
that's the other thing is you're also a social media manager now
Yep.
too. Not to complain, it's like really
Yeah.
fun.
yeah,
But it's just you don't think about all these like different aspects that go into making something like this.
yeah. Like my background is in like music writing, so like
Yeah.
I like to write and research and do the interviews, and then all the other stuff is just like the shit you have to do to like workshop that thing
Yeah.
into something that people can consume, and that's stuff that I had to upskill to learn.
Yeah. For me, coming from radio, I guess the
Mm.
social media side of things was already a part of that, but
Yeah.
there was a little, at least a little bit more support, and I wasn't
Yeah.
completely doing it on my own. But
Yeah.
coming across to video, especially when I first started, it was like,
Ugh.
cool. I just spent like 2 weeks learning this software, and then it took me like 3 or 4 days to get this first edit of the first episode done.
Yep.
And I got like 200 views in the first week. Woo! And that's like coming from, broadcasting to 40, 50,000 people a week was just like with bare minimum effort, rocking up. And sometimes, like not saying it was bare minimum effort, but I could, if I was having an off week, I could just rock up and shit out a radio show and away you go. It's done.
Yeah.
And that's like, I never expected it to be a cakewalk, but it's like, all right, this is the grind of doing a video podcast. 100%. DIY style.
Sure.
Not being able to, afford to pay for a producer to get it all done.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like we made the mistake early on, and we are still kind of guilty of it now, of comparing ourselves to other podcasts and other shows that have a lot more resources than we do.
Totally.
And are probably already established, making some kind of income, being able to pay for an editor and for someone to clip up, clips and put them on social media and stuff. So like you see the amount of work and volume that they're able to produce, and you're like, fuck, we need to be doing that. But then the reality kicks in of like, it's just us. And like Paige has a day job that allows us to like pay the rent and stuff and like to live. So like it's me doing it full time.
Yeah.
And like I think I do okay at it, but like I'm just one guy.
Great.
Like so it's a lot. It's a lot of work, but we still love doing it.
It's just so much. It fills our cup.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How about you? How are you feeling now that you're like months into doing this thing?
It's fun. It's satisfying. I'm very happy to be out of the radio.
Yeah.
I was really worried that I was going to miss it, but after 13 years of the same job, and just kind of watching the gradual, I suppose, decline in many ways of Triple J from the inside.
Yeah,
it's just
Is that
nice.
Weird. What's
it's
that
just
like?
nice to be out of it and not having to worry about that and just doing my own thing. And
I remember running into you at a show like just after we moved here, and it was before you had like announced stuff. But I remember you kind of like hinting at, you were like, "Yeah, I think my time at Triple J is probably coming to a close."
And I think I was probably feeling that way for about 2 to 3 years before I finally made the call.
Yeah. I think like that's still a huge stint. It's like the longest stint for the racket, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it.
You
beat the previous host by 3 years.
Nice.
In my mind, you're the racket guy.
Yeah, 100%. Like what
That's
Jack's
gonna be
done like with the core is like super sick, and like he's definitely made it his own show and kind of like taken it on. So like that's awesome. But yeah, you were definitely like the racket. Like you were there for so long.
Yeah, I think maybe that was part of what I was kind of worried about, like my sense of identity was
Oh,
all
for
wrapped up in
sure.
it. And I was like, who am I going to be without this? And it took a long time, a lot of processing, a lot of like yo-yo emotions around the whole thing. But I'm feeling good now and really enjoying doing the podcast because it's like I don't have to consider any kind of editorial policy or what
That's
anyone
the
else
freedom.
thinks, or I can just cover the topics and the bands and stuff that I want and just have those hour-long conversations where I found it really frustrating with radio because I'd have these incredible conversations that would go for like sometimes 30, 40 minutes. And then you got to cut it down to like a few,
like a 10-minute segment,
3 to 5 minute chunks. And then sometimes you may maybe push it a bit. And once you get past kind of 5+ minutes of an interview segment airing directly on radio, people start to get a bit over it. Sometimes they'd be like, fuck off with the talking. Let's get the music back. That's what they're listening for.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not what I listen to radio for. Maybe I'm just
Do you
like
still
a
listen to radio?
loser. Not in the last few years.
Yeah.
At all. But like that's what made me keen to do a podcast was definitely radio and being like a fan of actual like discussion on radio and talk on radio. Yeah. As much as I love music, I also like talking about music. So.
The only radio I still listen to is ABC Radio National. Like I have this solar powered radio that I keep at the chook pen. So
nice.
I put it on for them when I'm letting them out to have a scratch in the garden or when I'm working out there, and I just listen to people talk about all sorts of
that is so
crazy
beautiful.
topics. It helps keep the roosters calm too.
That's cute. I only really listen to radio like maybe when I'm in the car and I can't be bothered plugging in my phone to put on a podcast or music or something else, and I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just do the radio. So I pretty much only listen to Triple J and just kind of like dip in and out of stuff.
It turns itself on in our car.
It does. But
like haunted or something.
like I've been tuning into like Jack's show for different episodes, but I do that all digitally. and
Yeah,
listen to it
yeah.
online, which is like almost like a podcast anyway, or it feels more like a podcast than like dialing in a radio station. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I listened to his first few shows live, and then every now and then if he's got something on that I want to listen to, like an interview or whatever, I'll stream it back. But I'm definitely not consistently listening anymore.
No.
I mean, I was more of a like on the drive to work type radio listener, and I don't do that now. So I work entirely from home. And I wonder how many other people have been affected in that way.
It's definitely a dying format, specifically with like the generational divide, like younger people coming up, which is supposed to be the Triple J target audience. Like,
yes, it is. Yeah.
When are they listening to radio?
Most of them don't have a radio.
Yeah.
They wouldn't know how to listen to the radio. Yeah.
They're just putting on a streaming device.
Yeah. And they've tried to keep up, but I just don't know if it's really going to be able to go the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think your point about like a lack of editorial oversight is like the biggest draw card in doing what we do, because like we own it. We can change it.
Sometimes that's not great because you don't always edit out the dumb shit I say. And I don't know.
That's the juice though.
Yeah.
Got to keep the juice in.
As long as I'm making people laugh, I guess that's all that really matters. But yeah, I feel like if we had a producer that was like, I don't know, maybe Paige shouldn't be talking about cum shots on the show.
I saw that. Was that a misheard lyric thing?
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah, cool. One of my favorite bands actually watched a video of me talking
They acknowledged it, right?
Yeah.
They did. But I mean, a win, and I'm a little bit like, that's so embarrassing. But I think, I don't know, is it good? Is it bad to have someone editing and making sure you're not saying stupid shit on the internet? Or is it better to just be raw and off the cuff?
I've always like, I wouldn't say I've had like an antagonistic relationship with like editors and stuff, but like I'm my own worst critic. So like by the time I submit like a piece of writing, for example, like I've already gone over it with a fine tooth comb and I think it's like pretty much good to go. Okay. So then whenever I get like editorial stuff back and it's like pretty ruthless and like pulling shit apart, I'm usually like, don't fuck with it, man. It's already done. And I feel like if there was someone doing that with our show, I would get very, especially after years of doing it myself. I'd be like, nah, man, like I got this. I don't need you. I just need money. Can you give me money?
Give me money. Owen, you were actually my kind of producer for the first episode.
Yes. The infamous.
All completely fell apart.
Yeah.
So not good?
Yeah, no. It was the test run, I suppose. And the SD card on this desk fucked out and the recording is just a garbled mess because I thought I could just pull an SD card out of an old phone and chuck it in.
It was so strange.
Yeah.
Weird.
I've never had that happen with anything.
Is it a micro SD?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's crazy.
It was super weird. It had like taken Lachlan's audio and just like smashed it all together. So it was like playing on top of itself. It was crazy. And I felt so bad because I was like ostensibly the producer, like helping you kind of like find kind of like tune everything.
Does it have playback? Like,
yeah, this records directly onto an SD, but these days I record onto the SD and I also mainline into the laptop.
Yeah.
So there's a redundancy. But I also didn't have my cameras back then. That's because I was looking at these cameras for a while.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I want to spend that money, and just found some old DSLRs that my wife had and was like, I can just use these. And then I think one camera recorded and the other one stopped recording after half an hour.
Oh, that's annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to end up redoing that episode with Janine a couple of months later.
I saw
it was great though.
Yeah.
Second time around came out perfect.
But I mean, like, I remember you and I talking about it in the car, and I was just like, this is why you do the dry run. Yeah. And like you do it with someone like Janine, who's like a friend and a homie. So like if it doesn't,
you're not embarrassing yourself in front of some rock star.
Yes.
It's going to think you're a loser.
Because I think like you were close to recording that Dark Tranquility episode as well. And you were like, yeah, I don't want to like fuck all of this up.
Yeah. So I think I went home and just express post ordered the cameras and had them arrive like a day before.
So fair.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably like another learning thing that we've kind of developed through this. It's just like try and have as much redundancy as possible.
Yeah.
Try and have as much like preemptive setup. Like every time I have someone in the studio, even with our setup kind of like dialed in and locked in, I'm always like testing all the mics, do a dry run on the cameras,
Yeah.
go to the
Yeah.
playback file, listen to it. Does it sound okay? Did the videos record? Like double, triple checking everything because like shit fucks up all the time.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you come out sounding like a robot for some reason
Yep.
because of the recorder that hates
Yeah.
you or
So,
something.
like-
I don't think I've had a run of maybe more than like 3 episodes in a row yet where
Where it's just
one
gone
thing
smoothly.
hasn't gone wrong. If it's not
Yep.
software, it's the hardware. It's like I forgot to change the mic level on the desk back up to where it needs to be because I have a different studio mic for home and
Yeah.
shit like that. And
Yeah.
there's always something.
There's always something.
Yeah.
And like, that's the thing too, is like, I listen to a lot of other podcasts that are even still just like audio only. And like, sometimes they just have episodes with like completely fucked audio and they're like on episode like 800 of a podcast. And I'm just like, okay, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens to everyone.
It is good when you see like a podcast that you've been watching for decades even. Like I think, who was it that you listened to, the political group, and they have like
the Chapo.
Chapo?
yeah,
Chapo,
yeah.
They have notoriously shit audio and
They're
they have
all-
like a full-time producer.
Sometimes I'll be like blinking because they need to pull down the height. Like I'm just like, oh my god, guys, what's going on
Yeah.
with this? But it does make you feel better that like I just think it's kind of a part of doing a production of any
Yeah.
scale. That
There's so many
always
moving
issues.
pieces,
Yeah.
right? So like,
Yep.
you just kind of have to make it work. And yeah, I've
And
seen
hope
like,
your audience is forgiving when you fuck it up.
Yeah.
yes, very much so.
Which I think ours is.
Yeah, I think so.
They're pretty chill. We do sometimes get comments.
Yeah, there was one comment. The guy was like, the audio's like
Peaking
or something. And I was like, all right, man, turn it down. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
It wasn't peaking. It was compressed. It was already uploaded to fucking YouTube.
Yeah,
I had I think at least one episode where I had to go back through the audio and just isolate all like the B's and the P's, like the plosive kind of sounds, and just
Ah,
bring them down
Yeah.
individually so they weren't just like psh,
Yeah.
psh.
yeah.
yeah. We
I-
definitely did that in the beginning too. And
I've
then,
kind of like fine tuned
Yeah.
my effects chain pretty good, but like every now and again,
one really
shit will-
rough plosive. will
yeah,
get
shit will
through.
just be like a little
Yeah.
bit too rough. But like, yeah, you definitely like develop a really like consistent chain of like, all right, I need to have all of this shit working to make it sound somewhat consistent.
And then I'll listen to it and be like, there's really bad plosive right here.
Yeah.
You need to edit it out.
So tell us a bit more about your background in production, Paige. Like what specifically did you study and where?
So I studied at South Bank Institute of Technology and
In Queensland.
in Queensland. And that was just like a year-long course. And then I went and did a lot of live music. Like I worked for a Soundwave one year. I've done Big Sound. Is Valley Fiesta still a thing?
I think so.
I did Valley Fiesta. And then like a couple years later, I just started doing like really small all ages shows just all around Brisbane. One was in a church one time. I did I did the opening band for Confession in like an old church one night, like ages
So were you
ago.
like mixing at the Fort?
Yeah, like those kind of venues. The Fort
Yeah.
had closed down by this point, but that was essentially what I was doing for Kelso, who used to do the Fort shows,
Yeah.
basically. And honestly, like, I think you just need really thick skin to do that job. And there's only so many times you can have some guy come out of a crowd and be like, I think you need to pull it down at 2K before you're just like, I can't fucking do this anymore. So I wasn't built for it. And then I went into studio work for a while. And then I just was really tired of being broke all the time.
I was going to say you came to your senses and was
Yeah.
like, all right, time to get some money.
I would really like to make a livable wage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it still calls to me, you know, like I miss it all the time. So I think the podcast is a good like outlet for
Yep.
still doing something and getting to just shit kick with people and talk about music like once a week when I'm not, you know, very uncomfortable from being pregnant.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much, I mean, the summary of my short-lived career in sound engineering.
Yeah.
So we were talking about it a bit before, but you guys are about to welcome your first child into the world in a couple of months' time.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
man.
Are you more excited or nervous or just both? Like,
Both.
Both. Yeah, definitely both.
We were talking about it like we'll just go about our day working on the pod,
Mm.
Paige doing her job. And then every now and again, we'll both just kind of like disassociate with the fact of like, we're about to have a fucking kid.
Yeah.
And that's like multiple
ugh.
times a day. It's
And
like an
then
intrusive
the
thought.
The to-do list never gets smaller. It just has more things added to it. And it feels insurmountable. But like that can cause me quite a bit of panic sometimes. I'm like, oh my God. But I think at the end of the day, you're never really going to be like ultimately prepared for everything.
I think that's what everyone says. Like you're never fully ready.
Yeah. So we're just winging it.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, we feel, or at least I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
And we, touch wood, have had really like good luck, like with medical stuff and no real complications. So like,
Yeah. We've had a very easy go of it.
yeah.
Some people
You hear
have a
horror
rough
stories
time.
and like, it's really stressful for a lot of different people for different reasons. And like, we were certainly kind of preparing for that. Like, oh, we don't really know what's going to happen, but everything's been good.
Yeah.
So far. So, yeah.
Touch wood. Jesus.
And the plan is just to keep charging ahead with the podcast.
Yeah. I think we'll take a break when the baby comes. Like I want to take maybe like a month off doing the regular pod schedule, but I want to try and bank up some extra kind of like YouTube content and maybe like some interviews and stuff and just have stuff in the can that I can kind of edit. But I don't even really know, like, will I have time to edit? I don't know. So I'm just like keeping it as non-committal as possible and basically putting the pod on pause. And then if I have stuff, I'll just drop it as like a bonus or a surprise or whatever, just to kind of keep stuff chugging along so people don't think we're done or whatever. And then, when we get into a groove, try and get back into a regular schedule. But again, like, we don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, then we'll have a newborn. So,
Who knows?
I don't know who those people are yet. So I can't speak for what their like, idea of life is going to be like.
Yeah.
So I won't speak for that version of me.
Yes.
Let's give her space to make up her mind. Otherwise, I'll be like, damn you, past Paige.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're just figuring it out.
Yeah, we're just rolling with it. Like, we still want to do the show and we'll just have a kid as well.
Hopefully.
You were talking about having episodes in the bank. When I started the pod, I was like, I'm going to wait till I have like a month of episodes in the can before I start rolling this out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and I'm just going to keep it this way. So I'm always like a step ahead. And then that lasted for about 2 months.
Yes.
And then I was like, fuck, I'm out of podcasts. Like, got to go do one for next week. And that's how it is at the moment. So
And you do get chasing your tail a little bit.
It is like that. And we definitely have like moments where the scheduling aligns and all of the good like guests and all of the good gets like come through with plenty of lead time. And I'll have like 4 or 5 things all locked in. And I'll be like, I'll say to Paige, like, I'm all good for the next 4 weeks. Like, I don't have to have anyone in the studio. I can just edit. Everything is chill. And then like the next month, it'll be like racing to try and like find guests and get people in. So like, it's just the nature of the beast. Like, try and get as much stuff in the can as possible, but you can never pick it.
I mean, and you're running with release cycles at the end of the day.
Yes.
Like people who want to come on podcasts are generally releasing music at that time. I mean, at least in our case.
Yeah.
So there's obviously always going to be hot months for that where everyone's like, this is the prime time to release music. And then there's months that are just dead. That it's like no one's putting anything out. No one wants to talk about anything.
Yeah. And we've gone to like a reduced schedule as well. So we used to have like 4 guest episodes a month. And now I've kind of like dropped that back to like 2 guest episodes, like proper studio episodes. And then I do a bunch of like shorter like promo episodes over Zoom and stuff for like tours. So like trying to kind of make a balance of that stuff. So there's like still things happening with the podcast, but they're like less commitment in terms of like time and scheduling and stuff. So that's kind of good as well. But I don't know what it's like for you, but like I get so much stuff pitched to me, like so many different like interview opportunities and guests and stuff. And most of them are for bands that like I don't really want a promo or like don't really care about or don't think they're a good fit for the show. But then there's always that niggling feeling in the back of my head. It's like, well, what if the good guest drops out and then you need that backup interview? maybe you should just take that one just in case.
Then you don't want to be inauthentic and be like
Totally
having a conversation. Like that's not good for you or that artist.
No.
Yeah, because I felt like I had to kind of do that a lot with the radio because it was, you know, I had a responsibility to cover what everyone was into and what was sort of big. And with this, I've obviously been a lot more like I only want to really talk to bands or people that like I personally really want to have conversations with.
Yeah,
and so I haven't it's been a nice luxury to not have to take on chats like that, but I can see that the more it goes on, the more I'm going to have to consider doing that because I'm just going to run out of people to talk to.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I think that's one of the benefits of your show is that like, it is very much like a conversation between like, you know, like friends and peers about your like mutual connection.
Yeah, I find it interesting because you know the people that you're interviewing and you have conversations that actually like relate to a past history together. And that's kind of, it's a very different dynamic than anything else that's really happening.
Yeah. And then
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But yeah, like hard to do that with someone that you don't know or who's just like in a band that's touring that you've never really listened to. And you're like, how do we have an organic conversation? Like that's kind of weird. So
and I don't know about you, but we've definitely had artists, you can tell when they've realized like, oh, you actually give a shit about our music in this band. And they've just been on like a press run with like 7 other journalists that did not give a shit.
And they're just fully checked out.
And they're just like, what's your favorite color?
I was saying to, so like a little bit of a teaser. So I did an interview with the Melancholia boys, which will be up on the pod in a couple of weeks. Heard it here
Exclusive.
first. Exclusive. But I was doing like research for that chat with Alex and Toby, and Alex had previously done an episode of the Brutality podcast.
And that was really good.
Like a very like deathcore centric podcast in the States. And I listened to like the full 2-hour chat with him, and it was like really good, but also incredibly comprehensive. Like the full history of like his background, previous bands he'd been in, then like the whole history of Melancholia getting off the ground, then their last album, then like the new stuff, but then also lots of like peripheral stuff about like bands that he likes, cool underrated bands. And I was like, fuck.
So it's more like methodical dot points as opposed to just a flowing conversation.
Totally, but it hit every beat that I would have thought to hit in my own thing. And I was like, fuck. I was like, I've got to like,
talk about?
I got to find interesting shit to talk about that he hasn't already said in this very comprehensive interview. So like that was a little bit of a challenge. And I kind of like that, which is like, all right, we'll find the gaps, find the stuff that they weren't kind of digging into, because that'll make for a more like interesting conversation. Because the last thing I want to do is just like double up on something that someone else has already done. Because I think that's boring for your guest. But then it's boring for the listener too. Because they're like, well, I've already fucking heard him talk about this. Like, why would I listen to that twice? So yeah, that's my thing, is just to try and like put in a little bit of effort in research and prep to kind of like find something interesting to talk about that hasn't been plastered all over the internet.
Which I think just kind of comes really naturally to you because you generally know the person you're talking to as well.
Yeah, and I try and think of, I don't know if I try too hard to think of it, but I just try and think of like more different stuff to talk about as opposed to like, what was it like being in the studio, like the process for this one, what's life on the road, any good tour stories, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely guilty of falling into that trap with the radio.
Totally.
Yeah,
back in the day.
We have to.
I mean, I even just like trying not to be too consistent in listening to a new song with Owen on the weekly roundup and being like, I think I've just said the last 3 songs all had really great tonality or some fucking pop word that I've decided that day I'm just going to use for everything. It gets hard to like kind of have an intellectual, like remove yourself from the production of it and remember that you are just like having a chat with someone. It can be difficult.
I would like group a playlist of stuff that I was like thinking about featuring for a given episode. And back in the day, Paige would like listen to that during the week and then she would already have like an informed opinion about those songs or whatever. But then we found out like doing the show, it was actually better to just go in cold and like not listen to
that's
any
when I
of
say
that
the
stuff.
stupidest shit.
Because then it's like a more authentic reaction, and often it's her just like riffing off the dome, saying dumb shit, which is funny. So like that makes for a better, livelier podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so with the weekly roundups, like it's pretty impressive that you are consistently staying on top of so much new music.
Oh yeah.
I have not been able to do it. I haven't had the desire to do it since leaving radio.
Yeah.
It's really changed music for me in a good way. Like I pretty much spent the first 5 or 6 months of not doing radio, kind of not really checking out too much new music, and then sort of got back into it again, and
you can enjoy it in a different way.
It's more exciting now.
Yeah.
I don't know, like it's still exciting to me, and like that's kind of where like the whole impetus for the show kind of came about. So like
He's a playlist guy.
Yeah, very much.
If he likes you, he'll be like, here's music I like. Like that's his.
I send
love
Lachlan
language.
music all the time.
Yeah.
I was just like, hey, have you heard this?
Yeah, I was going to say like your show is a great resource for discovering new music, but I've probably taken away more from just like the ones that you handpick for me and go, you're probably going to really like this.
Yeah, I know.
9 times out of 10, you're bang on.
Yeah,
yeah. It makes you feel really seen. Hey,
Yeah.
when he's like, this song was made for you. And you're like, it was.
I think that's kind of like the thing that I like about the show the most is that like meeting guests and I think becoming kind of like
you just get to make more people
friends
playlists.
with them, and then like if any guests of the show are watching this, they can probably attest to
They
it.
all
Like
know.
I'll just keep messaging them afterwards and just be like, hey man, have you listened to this? And I do the same shit. I'll just like start sending them music because I'm like, we bonded that one time over your music. Here's other stuff that I think you will like.
Nice.
And it just brings me joy. Like I just like sending music to people.
Yeah, which is why having a podcast about
Yes.
the new music that comes out every week was kind of perfect for you.
It was all a friend making scheme.
Yeah.
That's right. But no, like keeping on top of new music is like kind of a very labor intensive business. Like I have a bunch of different resources that I like hit at the start of the week to kind of like
That's
find
gotta be
stuff.
like a lot of the job, right?
Yeah. And that's the other kind of thing that sucks about Spotify is that like that's the streaming service that I've been using the most. And I have consistently like I'll find an artist, I will follow them so that way all of their new releases come up in my like little like new release feed, and I check that every day. And I'm always finding stuff that drops that's new, leapfrogging to different albums and stuff, and like I don't want to completely bail on it because I lose this like algorithmic base of like stuff
It's
that I've
like mapped your mind.
Yeah. So like I mean, it's just a streaming service, like whatever. But that's
He's
the
going
main
through
thing
a
of just like I
breakup.
don't want to completely like just bail on it. But yeah, so I try and listen to as much new stuff as I can, and I've like hooked it up to my Last FM to look at like the statistics because I'm a playlist guy, but also a spreadsheet guy. So I
You're a
like to look
spreadsheet
at the
guy.
stats and like listen to like thousands of albums a year and just like hours of music.
My Spotify seemed to just like automatically somehow disconnect from my Last FM a couple of years ago, and I never really looked back into it.
It's very finicky. It does that all the time.
It's because I was so consistent in keeping track of all my listening through Last FM for like
A decade.
10, 15 years, and now it's just like that's a little relic of the past where you can go capture like the first half of my adult music listening life.
Yeah. It is kind of fascinating how there's just like different eras of your life captured on like platforms that don't exist anymore. Like I often just think about like my MySpace and just like all the dumb photos and shit and like
I wish they were still there.
Yeah, right. I
I
want
went
to
on to mine and I found there was some old ones.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I think mine is like properly nuked and like gone. Like I don't know.
Yeah, last time I went and
didn't
tried to find mine, it was like none of the photos were. It was all broken.
They were all broken links. Yeah, most of mine were, but this was like 5 years ago. But there were just some random like yard parties in my hometown. And I was like, those could have been fine to be broken, to be honest. I don't think anyone needs those on the internet.
Yeah, we would have met around that MySpace era.
Yep.
I can't remember the first time we met specifically. You were just always around for a long time. I don't know if you can remember.
I kind of can. So I think I used to work at the Basement, and there were like the Wednesday like metal shows at the Basement, and I'm pretty sure you were playing with Western Decay, And I think I like hung out with you and some of the other guys in that kind of like noise theory crew that you had at the time.
Yep.
And I think we were like hanging out while I was working or maybe after work on one of those Wednesdays. But like that would have been 2006 for the basement, maybe 2007. I would have been like barely 18. So it was a long fucking time ago, like 20 years ago.
Yeah. I used to sneak into the basement when I was still like 17. I figured out like the load and bay door situation.
Yeah. Very easy to get people in.
Yeah.
I used to do that all the time. I was actually working there underage because I like went to my first kind of shows there, and like I literally saw Every Time I Die, Parkway Drive, and Amity play there, and that was my first kind of like hardcore adjacent metalcore show or whatever. Quite literally changed my life. I saw people mosh for the first time, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
I did an interview with Andy from Every Time I Die on the steps of like the Queen Street Mall before their set at one of those shows.
Right.
Wow.
So I got the poster.
I think they did two, right? I think they did two shows.
Yeah. So there's like the under 18 show and then the 18 plus show.
Yeah.
But
That's crazy.
like I basically went to that venue, saw all of that, and then got my like license, liquor license certification to like what
RSA,
RSA, yeah. And I went to go get a job there, and I ended up being a glassy, but I was like still 17. But because I just looked a bit older, had like some facial hair or whatever, like the boss at the time, Adam, who was like a bit of a prick, but he was just kind of like, "Oh yeah, I'll give you a job." And then
Use your pretty privilege.
Yes, thank you. I remember being like months into working there, I asked him for my first night off, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I guess we could do that." And he was like, "What's it for?" And I was like, "Oh, my birthday." And he's like, "Oh, how old are you?" I was like, "Oh, I'm turning 18." And he's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "I thought you were like 22." I'm like, "No, man, I'm 17." And he's like, "So all those like after work beers and knockoffs and stuff?" And I was like,
you just didn't check your resume.
I was like, "My date of birth is on my resume, dog. Like that's on you." So,
yeah, things were a little bit looser back then.
100%. He was also ripping me off and like paying me like sub minimum wage and stuff. So like whatever. I didn't really care.
So like he was able to do that because you were underage, right?
Yeah, and he still hadn't clued as to why that was the case.
Hadn't figured out why he was paying you like lower than minimum wage.
No, surely he clocked it and was just having to play it cool.
Yeah, I believe so. So he eventually like sold the basement because they like closed kind of shortly after.
Yeah.
And then they...
Because I think the basement was closed before I even graduated high school.
Yeah. So like they ended up turning it into that Irish pub, like the one underneath the Hilton there on the mall. But then everything moved over to 299. So I worked at Club 299. And then that's a whole fucking thing. And then eventually it all moved over to Rosie's. And then I started.
When I finally was of adult age.
Yeah. At like the end of the 2000s. So yeah, you and I have definitely like always kind of orbited the same kind of circles. And like you've done like 1,000 different bands. All sorts of different stuff.
And you were talking about working for below minimum wage. It made me think about Death Before Dishonor magazine.
Yes.
Where I think no one got paid.
We've got a copy here somewhere.
We do. I put them up there. But.
Oh, it's too far away.
How did you end up getting involved in writing for that magazine? Did you approach me? I can't remember.
No, I approached Joel. I remember I like emailed him in, I want to say 2006. Might even have been like before Death Before Dishonor started. And I think like he had kind of like talked about it. Social media was in like a really like infant stage then. So I don't even know if he had like posted about it. I can't remember. I just heard that he was like starting a magazine, and I like emailed him and I was like, "Hey, I would like to contribute." And he was like, "All right, like I'll let you know once we're up and running and then you can do stuff." And yeah, I just like.
Were you involved in the first issue?
I don't think so. Yeah. My first like album review came out in like issue 3, I think. So like I wasn't at the very beginning, but like fairly soon after it started. And then, yeah, that's where I like, I don't know. It was only really just through him, and it was just like, we weren't like super tight or anything. Like I was just a kid. You fucking emailed him.
That was the first place you were published?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was like, I guess. a magazine, zine, kind of like
Yeah.
merge the two kind of like formats in like an interesting way.
It's definitely bigger than a zine.
Definitely. Like it
Yeah.
had like syndication.
It was presented like a magazine, but it was definitely put together more like a fanzine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
right.
Which was like super cool because it was just like people that I knew from like shows and it looked super slick.
And it just ended up tanking so bad in the end because Joel was touring all the time and just like a full-time alcoholic.
Yes. Yeah.
Almost back then, I
Not
think.
conducive.
Yeah, and it just
It was definitely a messy era.
yeah, I remember that was like some nights we were in the old office we used to have, and we were like crunching for deadline, and and it was maybe already like the second or third deadline that we'd missed, and Joel would just be like throwing his arms up and go, "Fuck it, let's go to Rosie's."
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it was fast and loose, and I think like I don't know, part of me kind of looks back on that almost kind of like fondly in like a punk rock
Like
like
a
spirit
sweet
kind of way of
way.
just kind of being like,
Yeah.
oh well, like,
Yeah, it was my first like legitimate music journalism job.
yeah. I remember when you
I
took
used to
over as
work
editor.
for write for a few different websites back in the day, but yeah, it was the first time I ever actually ended up
In
getting
print.
paid for music journalism, and that was
Wow.
I think I was the only writer that actually got paid because I got lumped with I didn't get lumped with it. I wanted to, jump on as like the editor,
Yeah.
and it was a huge workload.
Yeah, I definitely never got paid,
Yeah, I
but
was
I
gonna say,
also
were
I also
your-
like never expected to get paid.
Was your payment just like being on the door?
Yeah, being on the door and getting the odd free CD and stuff like that.
Well,
I think that may still be the process for a lot of Brisbane-based
for sure.
scenes.
Yeah, but I mean, like even then, it just feels so anachronistic too, because like we used to get album promos, but they were like actual fucking CD copies. And I just think about that now and just how
crazy.
wild that is that they would like post CDs to people to be like, listen to the new record.
Yeah, I remember when I first
Crazy.
started writing for Noise Theory, and like Roadrunner Records Australia would like send me just big fat packages, and they've got like half a dozen like CDs of all the new releases and shit. And I'm just like, fuck yeah, this is so sick. Like I'm gonna do this forever.
Yeah.
When I first met Owen, he got around with this huge binder of when he was like DJing at Rosie's.
Yeah.
So it was just like one of those big fold, like open it up and
Big
flick
CD
through.
wallet. Yeah.
And he would just have it everywhere. Like we would all be drinking, and obviously he always knew whoever worked in the bar, so he'd just like hide it back there. But it'd be time to go, and he'd just be like, "Yeah, just let me get my like massive wallet of CDs first." And like to be fair, he didn't have to do that either. Like the DJ that played after him, and in the other room, like Jerry Blam, he didn't have a fucking CD wallet. It was just Owen being a weird backpack kid.
I like the physical I like the physical feel of a disc. You know, it's like a vinyl guy, but for CDs. But mine were all just like burnt CDs. Like I learned very quickly, like don't take in your actual CDs because they'll get fucking ruined and scratched and beer pour all over them and stuff.
I remember I DJ'd at Rosie's a couple of times
Yeah.
and stopped getting asked to do it because I'd just bum everybody out by putting on like cool shit that I wanted to listen to. Like I'm like playing like Secret Death or Cult of Luna or fucking like Acacia Strain, and people are like, dude, what are you doing? Like we're trying to have a party here.
Yeah. I would basically I would often do like the band room and play whatever I wanted between bands. And then like once it became like the kind of like midnight to 3 a.m. section was like basically just playing all the stuff that I listened to in high school, which was like your Blink and your Sum 41 and just the shit that people want to like sing along to while they're drunk. And like that stuff was fine, but it definitely like got long in the tooth, and like half of those songs I just can't listen to anymore because I played them night after night for like
I've just got Head
years.
Automatica in my head now and I hate it.
I was thinking "Sorry You're Not a Winner" by Enter
Yeah,
Shikari.
there's like big songs like that are just like so done for me.
How do you think the bands feel? They still play them.
Yeah, that's true. But back to the CD point, one of the things that I don't know how to phrase this. I thought it was funny in the job is that like obviously Destroyer Alliance like ran those club nights, and then they started getting the labels asking to like promote certain bands and certain releases like through the DJs. And I just remember being like,
Yeah, you were a dick.
being like a bad employee
You're like,
because
I'm not doing this payola.
yeah, they would come and they'd be like, "Oh, can you play this new All Time Low song?" And I was like, "No, like, that's not going to happen." And then I was eventually just saying that I would, and then just not
And then you
doing
just-
it. I was like, and then they kind of got a little bit authoritarian with it. They're like, oh, we need you to like submit your playlist of like what you played. And I was like, I was 5 pints deep. Like, how the fuck do you think I remember what I played? Like, that's not
That would
quite...
have been for APRA, right? Or...
Yeah, something
it
like
would
that.
have
Yeah.
been. Yeah.
So I don't know, when it finally moved over to digital and everyone was just like plugging in a USB and using like software, much easier. But I was doing CDs. I was being
He
deliberately
was holding on to the bitter
old
end.
school, and it made it very like difficult. But,
Hilarious for me.
yes. But I can't imagine doing that job now. Too old for that shit.
No, totally.
Jerry's still holding on.
He
I
is,
know,
yeah.
he's such
crazy.
a legend.
It's wild. There's so many of those club nights now. They're everywhere. Like, it's not just the Destroyer Line stuff. Like, they definitely had the monopoly on that kind of thing
Forever, yeah.
in Australia.
For sure.
But there's a whole bunch of them. I see sponsored ads and videos and stuff all the time for a different emo-themed club
there's
night.
one that like goes on tour sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
AM, PM.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Is that a DAL one?
No.
No.
Oh,
right.
okay.
There's some guys in Sydney.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, there you go.
That's you know how like all of our parents would go to 70s, 80s theme? Like that's what that is for us.
Yeah. Like it, and that's what it is now.
Yeah.
It's funny
Yeah.
looking at it, and it's like a bunch of like 30 to 40-year-olds advertising the newest emo night.
Oh.
Like, good for you. Like, have your fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm passing.
So stoked.
Yeah.
Pass on that. Thanks.
Stoked for them.
I think like, I don't know. We definitely like worked in that environment for a long time. So
you
like
two are jaded.
we kind of like got our fill very early. So like I have no desire to do that anymore.
Yeah, look, I'm not gonna act cool. Like I would totally go to one of those
Yeah.
nights if I was and get drunk and woo girl and carry on.
Well, there was like a Chapel Roan
sounds sick.
themed one the other night, and you were like, that could be
so
fun.
fun.
So like, yeah, I'm sure the kids are having
I
fun.
buy into the shtick, but I just am also like aware that now I am my mother going to like an 80s themed party and how bizarre that is.
One thing, one kind of aspect on it, and like if you want to move on from this, like this is your show, so you can definitely do that. But one aspect that I always like reflect on that I just think is like the funniest thing was like doing the band room and playing songs in between bands, and I would play like a Parkway song or a Prom Queen song or whatever, and the idea of like dudes like half cut moshing to a song that's played over the PA is never not funny to me. I just like reflect on it all the time. It's just like, I wonder what that's like to be the guy that's like, I'm gonna mosh to
a CD at a club.
to the CD at the club. Like,
I've definitely been that guy, and you've been the DJ. So I'm really offended by this line of topic.
Did you two meet in one of these environments originally?
we did.
We did. We met at Boys and Girls Night at X and Y Bar.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
Owen was the first guy to ever buy me a drink.
Nice.
Very, very dapper. It works, you know. You don't need the apps. You can just buy someone a drink in a bar. I mean, you could then. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore. Is that cringe now?
That's manipulative and gaslighting. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Wow, that gave me the ick.
What's funny is that like, so some deep Owen and Paige lore is that we both come from the same small town in Queensland.
Toowoomba, right?
No,
Emerald.
Oh,
Emerald.
Yeah. And like really,
More remote.
really kind of deep lore is that like my best mate back home was Paige's neighbor. And Paige was friends with his little sister. So even when we were like very, very young, we were still like in each other's orbit. And like she was a young girl. I was like, you know, maybe like 12 or whatever. So like she just didn't exist to me.
He
I didn't
didn't
even
exist to me.
perceive that she was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But
Like
we were definitely like just, you know, rolling around in the same like house together.
Yeah, I remember the events that occurred, but I don't remember anything about you.
Yeah.
I knew that James's weird friend was there.
Thank
But
you.
I have not internalized anything about like what you would say or what you look like or anything. Like you were just like, yeah, some weird friend of James.
Yeah. So it was weird. Like we both moved to Brisbane independently and like a few years apart. And then like through friends of friends from our hometown ended up meeting at some like Dow club night and then like hooking up originally. And then like,
It was casual back
Yeah,
then.
casual, and then like separating, dating different people for like a number of years, and then eventually kind of like, I think I saw you pop up on Facebook, and I was like, this is when I still used Facebook, so it was like a decade ago, and I was like, oh shit, I wonder what Paige is doing, and then slid into the DMs, said what's up, and here we are.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy,
The
but
rest
like,
is history.
yeah. But that's why she kind of gets my weird, because like she also
such a
comes from the
specific
same small
weird.
town. So she kind of gets it. All of the hometown references, she understands.
I remember when you disappeared off social media, and then this page started following me called The Pitch of Discontent. And I was like, hey, that's a Misery Signals lyric.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sure is. Yeah.
We got a message from Jesse that was like, nice name.
Yeah, that was kind of sick.
That was a crazy day
Cool.
for us.
I tried to get him on the show like for their kind of like farewell stuff, but I didn't want to push it too hard, and I didn't want to be like too much of a sweater.
punish,
But I was
yeah.
like, oh man, like your band means a lot to me. That's why I named the podcast what it is. So like if you want to do an interview and a chat, let's do it. And he was like, yeah, man, let me know. And then just got busy with other shit. And I was like, okay.
I had a farewell Australia tour all booked and ready. Like the artwork was done.
That's right. We were, yeah.
And then like a week or two before we were supposed to announce it, one member decided that he didn't want to commit to that much, and apparently he was kind of like that about the whole thing.
it was already
Right.
And
bad.
so like, yeah, it was like everything was potentially on the line. So they
I'm-
clipped Australia and Japan just to make sure that, you know, Europe and the States could go ahead, and
Yeah.
it ended up being fine. And I think everyone else was like, I kind of wish that we'd just somehow forged
that
ahead and
work.
made that happen. But
Yeah.
sad.
I'm incredibly like bummed that
Did you go over for any of the shows?
No, I thought about it,
yeah,
and
very seriously.
and in retrospect, I kind of wish I did. Now,
yes.
now that we're about to have a kid, because like, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to do anything impulsive like that.
Yep.
In like a couple
Wasn't
months
it?
time.
I was at a conference in Vegas at that time or something.
No, it was before that.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
but
it
I
was-
was about to be.
It was mid-year. It
So,
was like
like-
roughly around this time last year was when they did the farewell stuff.
Yeah. And it just was like financially, we have
Yeah.
like multiple international trips coming up.
Well, it's
and then
funny
I got
'cause, like-
pregnant and now we don't have any. So.
Because like Lachlan had told me about it, because like they
Yeah.
obviously posted about the band kind of breaking up and doing the farewell stuff. And I remember I posted about it. Lachlan immediately slides into my DMs and he was like, I might be able to get some Australian stuff set up. Like things are kind of in motion, but I'm not entirely sure. And I was like, oh man, fingers crossed.
Yeah, we were.
And then, like you said, it all kind of fell through. And then I remember chatting to you and like sending you like webjet links. And I was
you're
like,
sending me flight prices.
I was like, brother, I have priced this out. This is like the absolute cheapest that I can get to like fly to LA, see the show, come back for like, I think I had it down to like $2,200. And I just like didn't have the money and didn't want to like pull the trigger on it. But I kind of wish I did.
Yeah.
But,
I don't think I would have been able to afford it at the time, but Nick, who plays in Guitar and Run these days,
Yes.
Yep.
he
Yeah.
went over and like
Did
tagged
he?
along for like 3 or 4 of the
I didn't know
shows,
that,
and
yeah,
he,
I remember
he,
trying
he
to
brought
do
me back
that.
one of the illegal represses that they did of like of Malice and the Magnum Heart on vinyl, and
Yep.
so
Sick.
at least I got
What a
that
legend.
souvenir out of it. But
I
I
have
really
a-
wish I could have seen it.
I have
Yeah.
an OG press, like
Nice.
the original like 500 print run or whatever that they did. I have that upstairs.
I've been eyeing them off on Discogs for like the last decade, but they've never like gone below like hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
I
so-
spent stupid amounts of money on mine. I also
Yeah.
have the box set that they did for Absent Light, which has the represses of all of the old records, and it's still in the shrink wrap, and I can't like bring myself to open it,
to pop it.
but it's just sitting up there. So
Nice.
yeah, like that band means so much to me, and I don't know, like
We watched the documentary, he still cries.
Mm.
it fucking
Such a
kills me.
nerd.
It kills me. It's crazy. But I don't know, like part of me is kind of like at peace with it, I think, because like I never got to see the band with Jesse, and those records are definitely my favorite records.
Yep.
And him as a vocalist and a lyricist is like the thing that I really like about them. But I don't know. I don't know. You probably feel the same way. Like I've seen so many shows, I've seen so many bands. Like I don't feel this compulsion anymore to like have to tick everything off the list. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm just like, oh, well, I didn't get to catch that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, still would have liked to be there. So
That one definitely stung.
yeah, for sure.
For sure.
But it is what it is.
Maybe they'll do another break. There's been heaps of times where bands I've liked have done another breakup tour.
Yeah.
After they've got back together.
Yeah, most of them can't stay away for too long. But I
Yeah.
feel like Misery Signals
think
is a
they're
band that I
done.
hope doesn't fuck with it any
Yeah.
further. 'Cause, like,
No.
It's perfect.
I kind of wish I hadn't seen the Dillinger Escape Plan the
Oh.
other night.
Oh no.
It wasn't terrible, but like they played well. But the
Yeah.
vibe in the room was just off. It felt like everyone was being forced to be there. It was like the second Northcote Theatre, but it was only had about like 300 to 400 people max, I think, in the
Yeah.
room.
Okay.
And yeah, it was weird. And you're like, man, you guys had the perfect fucking exit as a band.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it should have
And
been
now
better
it's,
to
and
just.
now it's like, all right, you came back and got paid, but
At
whatever.
what
Whatever.
cost?
There's like way worse ways to go and make
Totally.
money in this world. I can't really fault them for that, but selfish part of me is like, I wish you'd just stayed this perfect band in my mind forever.
Yeah. And I don't know, like it's hard to kind of analyze like what goes on behind the scenes in different bands and different reasons. And like the cynical view is like a lot of it is just money. But like with the recent like Good Things announcement, like Refused are on it. And like specifically being like, oh, Refused are fucking dead. Like this will be our final ever
That was
shows. And I was
dramatic.
like, the irony of being in a band where you've had Refused are fucking dead twice
As the tagline.
as the
So,
tagline. And it's just like, what are we
and it was
doing?
like they broke up originally, and then they were supposed to they came and ended up doing those reunion shows, and that's when they first came to Australia.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be the final ever tour, just like an anniversary thing. And then they did another album and kept touring, and then the next Australia tour flopped hard. And then I think they've done 2 post
Yeah.
return albums, and
It's a
Yeah.
bit now. They're just doing
They're
a
like
bit.
the John Farnham of Australian of alternative music, just like always the final ever tour. But I don't know, like I would still enjoy seeing them, especially if they're going to play stuff off The Shape of Punk to Come. Like,
Yeah,
that's a great record.
I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to
Yeah.
that set. I'm gonna
So-
try and get Dennis on the pod if I could be so lucky.
Yeah, fuck yeah, you should. He
Yeah.
seems like a super interesting guy. I follow his YouTube channel and he like reviews like music and stuff.
Right.
I
I
don't know
had
if
no
you've
idea that existed.
Yeah, go suss it out. It's kind of cool. I think it started as like a COVID thing, and now he just kind of does it in like little bursts when he has the time
Nice.
and effort for all the reasons that we mentioned on this pod.
Yeah, is that
how
it's
labor intensive that is.
Actually a
But
lot of work.
yeah, it's fun. Like one day in my little algorithmic thing you might like to watch, it was just him, and it's like records that I like and I've been listening to, and I was like, Dennis from fucking Refused? What? Like, okay. So yeah, like no shade to them. Like, do what you got to do. I just think it's very much symptomatic of this point that we live in now, where like you never know if a band is ever really dead,
Yeah.
unless like people actually die and it becomes like
Well,
impossible. for
even
them.
still, Power Trip's back.
Yeah.
Pantera are still a fucking
Mm.
thing. So like, yeah, it's crazy. But maybe that's made
Black
me.
Sabbath is next.
Oh.
Sad.
Yeah, I don't think they could get away with that after like it was Ozzy basically got to be at his own funeral. That's insane.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it was very strange. I didn't watch the whole thing. I saw snippets of it, and like I guess it was cool to kind of like have all these people come and like celebrate the band and like their legacy and stuff, but like he didn't need to be doing that, you know? Like
yeah.
he could just chill.
It's like they knew.
Mm.
Maybe they did.
Yeah.
Because isn't isn't it in Sweden you can go and opt to just be put to sleep?
Yeah, they have the voluntary euthanasia stuff.
No, he
Yeah.
definitely didn't do that.
No.
Do we know?
Yeah, I read something the other week about his official cause of death.
Because
Oh,
I
right.
remember it being like they didn't know for ages, but
Well, there was like
that
3 or
horrible?
4 sort of different health issues all at
Yeah.
once.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's
And I
so
can't remember
sad.
exactly what it was, but I think it was like just a heart failure thing eventually.
Yeah.
Ex-
I mean, he had a good run.
Mm.
He had
It's
a
just crazy the
very hectic
timing
life.
after that massive concert for it to have been so close. To going
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember thinking that concert like, wow, it's crazy that he's still
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah.
It's amazing that he held on long enough for that to even
Yeah.
happen.
to do
Yeah,
that.
for
Yeah.
sure.
No, very crazy.
From the early days and then doing the reality show and then everything that's happened on Twitter. Yeah, it's just he just kind of kept going.
What happened on Twitter?
Oh, they were like notorious tweeters, him and Sharon for years.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him tweeting.
Yeah.
Maybe someone like tweeting
Like
as
on his
Probably Sharon
team.
tweeting for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
the idea, like just trying to conceptually think of him doing a tweet is like breaking my brain.
Yeah, true.
Oh, sorry, an X or a Z.
I think Elon just calls them posts.
Oh, yeah, that
Thanks,
makes
Elon.
sense.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Elon.
Looking into it. Concerning.
Yeah, no, that one was sad. I don't know. Who's your ideal band to come back from the depths then?
Like, I don't really know. Honestly, like, I don't think I have any. There are a couple of bands that I haven't seen that are like top 10 bands for me, and they're both still active. So like Crime in Stereo, I would love to see, and they only toured here maybe once or twice, and I missed them on both runs. And then the other one is Hopes Fall. I don't think they ever got here.
No.
There was a point
Didn't they do Soundwave one year?
they might have. I'm not sure, but I definitely missed them if they
I
made
didn't
it.
remember that.
But there was a point.
Maybe
in-
actually, you might be right.
I feel like I want to Google this right now.
yeah, I
There
think-
was a point just before COVID, in like early 2020, they were going to Japan to play a show with Taken, and I would love to see Taken. So I was like contemplating doing
That's right.
kind of like the same thing with the Misery Signals thing, like looking at flights to go to Tokyo, see this show, and then fly immediately home and seeing like how cost effective that was. But then COVID happened, and I was like, well,
Better not.
they
do
cancelled the
that.
shows. That's not happening.
Yeah, I think
So those are
Um,
two.
I think Hopesful would definitely be pretty up there for me
Yeah,
too.
for sure. Because that last
Yeah.
record,
Oh.
Arbiter, is so good.
So good. Is that still the last record?
It is from 2018.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Feels like a lifetime ago at this
I mean,
point.
it's almost a decade.
Yeah. COVID happened.
COVID, bunch of
We-
shit.
we moved a couple of times.
Yeah.
Life goes on.
Do you have a band or an
I-
artist that
Oh.
you would want to see?
Any artist ever? I was really bummed that I missed Bill Murray a few months ago
Yeah.
They'll be
Yes.
back.
because I'm pregnant. But I've missed so much good shit this year, and it's been such a bummer.
I mean, we had tickets to go, but Paige just didn't feel up to it.
No,
So
I was
it's
too
kind of one of
sick.
those things, like being pregnant, like you never know, like you have a bad day, you're not doing anything.
You roll the dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was such a bummer. I really wanted to.
But I mean,
It's
like
I
Lachlan
love
said,
that
like
one.
he'll be back for another tour. So
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
that's not a huge loss. Like we'll see.
I couldn't see anything on Google about a Hopes Fall Australian tour, by the way. I might have invented that memory.
Okay. I feel like if it happened, we would have been there.
Yeah.
Because that's like a pretty deep cut band that I would definitely like go out of my
Maybe
way
this
to
is a
see.
Mandela effect, but I also feel like I remember something being promoted at some point. And then maybe it just, COVID happened.
Yeah.
There was the
Mm.
Japan tour.
Yeah, I
so-
think the Japan one was like the closest they ever got. And I was seriously contemplating seeing that. But yeah. What about you? Is there a band that you would like go out of your way to see if they made it here or
I had
reunited?
something on my tip of my tongue before, and then I got distracted by Hopes Fall, and I've forgotten what it was.
We need like the podcast guy, like the man in the
The
chair,
prompter.
the
Yeah.
Jamie or whatever. Like, can you just pull that up? Can you fact check
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Off the top of my head right now, though, I can't really. Like, I think I've seen basically every band that I've ever like really wanted to see.
Yeah.
Surely that's not true. It's got to be something.
What about crippling alcoholism?
I mean, I'd like that's not bringing a band back from the dead though, but yeah.
I just know you would love
yeah,
to see
yeah, yeah. I
them.
really want to see them.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We started this with bringing back someone from the dead specifically,
this is true.
didn't we? Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know either then. I feel like if you'd asked me like maybe several years ago, I would have said Alexis on Fire, but then my wish came true. So that was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm glad I got to see like OG Power Trip before Riley
yeah,
passed.
yeah.
So like that's sick. Like I got to see them at Crowbar, and that was like a dope show. So I'm glad that happened because I
Ooh,
wouldn't
Like
go see them
original
now.
Crowbar in Brisbane?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great venue.
Mm.
It was sick. It was really, really good.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. There's probably a bunch, but I'd have to sit and like think on it.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I've done pretty well in seeing the bands I want to see.
Yeah.
mostly. There was a time where that wasn't true, but I think in the last decade or so, I've been, because like growing up in a small country town, you don't see live music of bands you like. Like, probably get to see a lot of John Farnham. I do remember that a cover band of the Spice Girls came out, and my mum lied to me and said that was the real Spice Girls. And I was like embarrassingly old before I figured out that was a lie, that I'd never seen the Spice Girls. So.
That's so good.
But yeah, you don't really get to see much. So there was like a long time where I would just like lie to people. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, you remember back in like 2005 when this band was here on tour?" I was like, "Yeah, totally."
I ended up getting to see Day of Contempt eventually, like 10 years later, when they reunited for an Earth Crisis tour.
Yeah,
I was at that show.
But I remember when I must have been 17, 18, around that age, and like there was a lot of all ages shows in like Brisbane, and they'd have them down in Byron Bay and stuff. And I'd always, well, not always, but I'd often go down to Byron Bay on the weekends, like in a friend's car, just tagging along to go to like the all ages shows down there. And I think it was like Day of Contempt and Stronger Than Hate or something. And
those shows go crazy.
And they were playing down there, and my mum wouldn't let me go on a school night, and I was like,
just devastated.
How dare you?
Because I love that Stronger Than Hate album, but yeah, I never got to see them.
No, I never went to a Taste of Chaos, and that was something that really brought a lot of contention to my family. Yeah.
Even the last one, which was a bit of a fizz.
I went to the first one and was backstage interviewing a bunch of bands for that Death Before Dishonor.
Yeah, right.
Did an interview with The Bled, I remember that. And who was I with? One of the other writers was there and did one with Rise Against.
Yeah, sick.
Fuck you guys.
I
was playing World of Warcraft in my bedroom.
I went to the first one in 2005, maybe 2006, the one that had Kill Switch on it. I just remember very distinctly like walking around the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, and the guy came over the PA, and he was clearly like an entertainment center employee. He wasn't part of like the tour or the fest or whatever. And he was like doing like radio announcer voice, like, "Okay, and now we have next up Kill Switch Engine." And like all of the like black shirt emo goths that were there, like there was just this collective groan of just like, "You fucked it up, dude." And I just remember that being super funny. I wasn't even a big Kill Switch head, but I just remember thinking that was fucking hilarious.
I have a very distinct memory of us, well, you and me, Owen, being backstage at the Horizons tour.
Yes.
And I was sitting in on you interviewing one of the guys from the Warriors.
The drummer that they had at the time, I forget his name. Yeah. But that was a sick interview. And that was like the shows where they had all the police bullshit at the front of the arena. It was fucking psycho. And all those photos are like in the Death Before Dishonor. Yeah.
Fill me in for the listeners at home. What police bullshit?
So,
do you have a copy of that issue up there? We should pull one out.
Should I try and grab it?
Yeah. If anything goes wrong, I'll just cut the edit appropriately. So that's the first issue there.
And then issue 2. We don't have to go through them all, but I think so. The Parkway ones will be at the back.
Yeah, Joel was always so adamant about putting so much into the visuals and just the quality.
They look great though, yeah.
And it cost so much money to print them just because of how high quality the paper is. And I was always just like advocating for just doing it on cheapest magazine stock just to so it wasn't such a burden. But
so there's like there's the interview there, but I'm not sure where the arena show photos are. It might be like in the editorial bit at the start of like an earlier issue.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. I've looked through these so many times. They all kind of like blur together.
But like, look at these little time capsules to your friendship.
Yeah, it's sick. And they're all like so good. The interviews are great.
They're really beautiful quality.
Like high quality like posters.
Say what you will for Joel being a stickler, but like they do look incredible.
Looks great.
Yeah.
There's like tour posters and stuff in here that you just can't find on the internet.
Yeah, and half the time the magazine was coming out when the tour had already past because they'd book advertising with a deadline and a release date that we'd promised, and
then you just didn't meet it.
And then it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
In time.
I mean,
I can't find
remember
the photos,
press
but they're in here
media, I
somewhere.
guess, is the point. Is like, look at this relic of the past.
You want to check those over there?
I had night because when I took 1 week off this podcast a couple of weeks back, just because I didn't have anything in the can and nothing was lining up in time, and I was trying to come up with like ideas, which I ended up just deciding, fuck it, I'm just going to take a week off.
Yeah.
But I was coming up with all these ideas of things I could do to just do a solo pod, just to make sure I was still hitting my target of episode every week.
Yep, I've done that.
And one of the ideas was I could read like my old Death Before Dishonor reviews. Like that would be kind of like pulling teeth. Like
I've read my album reviews and I'm just kind of like, bro, what are you doing?
You were so mean on some.
Yeah, I was so fucking uselessly mean. Like, just like, because I guess I was just like a little internet forum shit talker and just treated the magazine the same without really considering the, I guess, permanence of it and how different something being printed is to just being an internet post. And
for sure.
I remember
there's no delete button.
One guy, one time at Soundwave, there was a guy from, can't remember the band, but some like local Brisbane metalcore band that I just savaged as being like generic and bad and stuff, and giving him like 1 star or something. And he was like pinging off his face, like tears in his eyes, like telling like, but like also aggressively just telling me how much that review like really hurt. And I was just like, oh my God, what the fuck? Why would I do that? I was such a dickhead.
Owen we were at a friend's engagement party, and a guy from a band that he had just savaged came up and was like, hey. And we were like, hello. And he was like, so you're not really into my type of music, huh? And Owen just goes, no, I am. I just don't like your band. And I was like, I'm going to leave. And I just walked away.
I mean, like,
at least you're consistent, I guess.
Like, in my defense, they opened for fucking, what's the name of the band? The Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, that fucking band. And they opened that show at the Triffid to maybe like 20 or 50 people. And the dude who was the frontman and vocalist like had an ego riser, and he was already very tall.
Yeah.
So I was like, you don't need to be doing that. Like, you're on a high stage, you're a tall guy, and you're on an ego riser. Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, you're just opening the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus show. So, like, there was a bit of that in there, and I think maybe I was too
You're a bit mean.
purposeful about that. But anyway.
It's out there now.
Well, if you'd like to apologize to the band specifically, we've got a platform for it now.
I'm sorry, Joy in Motion.
I was too mean.
I was too mean. But this is a question I would like to ask you, Lachlan. Now that you're out of the Triple J sphere and you're doing your own show, your opinions are your own. Do you think there is a space in music journalism, and perhaps even Australian music journalism specifically, to like bring some of the hater attitude back? Because like all I see is like effusive, good, great coverage.
And I mean, like, that's all we do because we only want to talk about what we like.
Yeah, that's kind of the philosophy I ended up with was like, if I'm going to put the effort into writing about music, I only want to do it with something I'm actually stoked on.
Yeah. But I agree with you, and like we definitely have the same philosophy with our show. Like we don't try and go for low hanging fruit, clickbait clicks or anything like that. Like that's not what we're about. But
I think it would be a lot easier to do, you know, a roundup where you put songs that like I hate in it, and I'm just like, this is so shit.
Yeah,
it would be so easy to do that, and I think people would react either positive, like it could be rage bait, or you know, people agreeing, and it probably would get a lot of traction. But it's just like
hate gets more traction on the internet than love. So
it's so sad.
And like I don't want to feed into that necessarily, but I guess my point is like more from like a critical standpoint. Like I do think there needs to be a space for critique and criticism that isn't just regurgitating what the press release said and putting 5 stars on it. Like the amount of times I've seen publications that I don't want to like name specifically, but like
They
giving
never
like
go below 3 stars.
giving
Yeah.
like new albums like 10 out of 10. And I was like, so you're saying this is one of the best albums
ever
It's
made.
perfect.
ever
Yeah.
made? Completely perfect. It's like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, what's the point of a rating system if everything is 9 out of 10?
Yeah.
Like,
Owen's had editors change his star rating.
Yep.
Jesus.
Yeah.
and I stopped working for them and stopped doing stuff because I was like, well, that's fucking pointless. Like,
Yeah.
Street press or webzines?
magazine.
Yeah, it was a magazine.
So like, I don't know. I take what I do seriously.
Yep.
And I think that's what people kind of like about the show, I think. So like, I don't know. I just feel like there is space for like, you know, well-reasoned, well-argued critique and criticism. But online, like people just fucking lose their minds.
Yeah.
Like, anytime there's like a pseudo-negative pitchfork review, there's like writers getting death threats.
Yeah.
And people losing their fucking minds.
Well, like
about it.
Fantano is a good example of someone
Yeah.
who's not afraid to
To
you know,
say
still
what
be
he
critical.
thinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you always see it, people just crying in the comments. Like
Yeah.
I've been guilty of that myself once. I got
Oh yeah.
maybe
same.
maybe more than once, but I think he reviewed a Meshuggah album and was criticizing it for being too robotic and mechanical. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You do not understand Meshuggah. Why are you reviewing them? That's the whole point.
But yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I had that with a very early Dance Gavin Dance album. I was like, this isn't the kind of music this guy listens to. And it was before he was like, you know, the teeth of the internet. He was getting a lot of traction, but it was like one of his early reviews. And I think every Dance Gavin Dance fan was just like foaming at the fucking mouth
Yeah.
at this review he did.
It is just weird because like, you know this from working in this industry for as long as you have, that like there is this weird kind of cozy relationship between like the promoters, the press, the labels, and everything is all kind of intermixed, and people wear sometimes all of those hats at the same time. And
You
like,
don't want to get blacklisted from
Yeah.
getting your door spots by giving negative press.
totally.
Or getting interviews.
Yeah.
And,
But I don't know. I feel like if it's going to have any kind of longevity, and if we want like a healthy kind of
push.
ecosystem
Yeah.
of like publications and podcasts and stuff, like people need to just
Well,
chill on the reaction
I feel like
stuff.
if you were doing some kind of platform where like you're kind of selling advertising or just trying to sell issues, or like, and people are providing you with constant releases to review, there's perhaps more of a precedent there to be actively kind of critiquing stuff when it's sort of like you're expected to.
Yeah.
But then again, I guess if you're being paid for advertising, that disrupts that entirely. But I also think that just with how accessible music has become, that I feel like there is less of a need for music criticism perhaps these days.
Because comment sections.
Yeah, and you can just go online and have a listen yourself. You don't need to really, you know, like I would sometimes back in the day just like read a crazy review of something and be like, that sounds so fucking good. That sounds like exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Go to the store and buy it. Or like,
That's true.
I was looking forward to this album, but a whole bunch of reviews have said it's kind of shit, so I'm not going to go to the store and buy it. But I guess now you can just dive straight in and listen.
Make
and
up your
9
mind
times out of
yourself.
10, even if you do enjoy it, you're probably not going to buy it. Like I'll only buy the physical copies of stuff that I actually truly love, or it's like my friends putting something out.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're definitely in that same kind of mindset. I think for me, you know, I'm probably like not the average. Like I'm very much like a music obsessive.
There's not many people that listen to music like you do.
Yeah. So like I understand that
many.
my problems are not necessarily everyone's problems, but like I still put a lot of value in like good music criticism. And I was saying on the episode I did with the guys in Melancholia, like we were talking about the new Deaf Heaven record. And like I was already excited to listen to that album. The singles were great. When the whole album came out, I was like, yeah, this rocks. And then I was doing prep to talk about it on our show. And I found this feature in like Flood magazine where someone had like sat down with George and were doing like a track by track, asking him about how everything works. And there was like a bit in there where he talks about how the theme is actually about like masculinity and how like lonely people with power refers to like all of these like powerful men in positions of power, their relationship to their own masculinity, sexuality, and how that metastasizes into all of these different like political, social, cultural things. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I looked at the album cover and I was like, oh, there's like a young boy in the seat of a car with what looks like a provocative woman kind of like angling over the thing. And I was like, oh, now I see the cover completely differently.
Yeah.
Right.
I listened to the record and
Listen
to it completely differently.
Yeah.
And to me, I was just like, that's the power of a good feature.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
being able to get that information out of him in that context, like changed that record for me. I already loved it, but it changed it for me. And I was like, that's why we do this shit.
Yeah, that's kind of what I try and do, I suppose, with my podcast is just get more of that context out there for people. But like, I guess, again, that's a different thing to criticism.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Like feature and investigation.
Totally.
Yeah. So
I would say a more healthy thing.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's I find it fun to be a hater still sometimes, but
Yeah.
just in private, I guess.
Totally.
In my group
Yeah.
chats, like I'll
We
shit
can
on
still
Dan
hate
sometimes,
behind
but yeah,
doors. Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable putting that out there so much anymore.
no,
Yeah.
I don't want to contribute to
Being the edgelords that we were.
the edgelord like
Mm.
negativity, and like so much of it is like, like so transparent for clicks and views and stuff. Like, I just don't want to do that. So
Did you see what Ronnie Radke's done to his Instagram in the last few days?
No,
not
what?
his
Do
Instagram,
tell.
no.
He's turned it into rock hard news, and it's all like metal sucks lamb goat style, like tiles with just like made up, sometimes offensive, sometimes just pure ridiculous like music news stories.
Cool.
It's kind of funny. Some of it's pretty good.
I don't know how he has the energy. That's my thing. With it.
He takes being a hater to like
Yeah.
completely new levels. Like,
And I feel like
There was
it's-
one that like really got me pretty good.
Do tell.
Let me bring it
Yeah,
up.
I feel like whereas it's draining for me to engage with like rage bait, there's certain people, I think Ronnie Radke is like a perfect example. It fills him up.
Metal Sucks, Lamb Goat, and the Mosh Network are 100% the reason music is gay AF now, sources say.
and then the logos are in like the rainbow.
And then it's
flag.
like, rock hard
Cool, dude.
news.
Yeah, cool.
And he went pretty hard on Fantano on one of them as well.
I saw like he posted a YouTube video, like he's in his YouTuber era now, I guess.
No,
And-
he's been a streamer for a really long time.
yeah, but people were kind of saying that like, oh, he's moved over to like the YouTube essay
Yeah,
format.
okay, right.
And he was basically talking about how like he sued Fantano for defamation.
And he lost.
And he lost. I
And it
did
just-
hear about
and then
that.
he-
And then he had a
had-
big
had to like
spit.
turn that around and be like, actually, it's good that I lost so that I could do this video. And I was like, okay,
Yeah,
dude, whatever.
It seems like he may have deleted it, but there was one that was like unless it's on this slide here, I don't know. It was like a photo of their shows, and he was like playing footage of Fantano playing bass in some like basement in some local band,
Some
and
weird
just
jazzy fucking metal band.
I
just
mean,
like
yeah,
fully-
that's his shtick.
getting the crowd, whole Falling Universe crowd to just like laugh at him and stuff, and there was some line about how he only like reviews hip hop records so he can get away with saying the N word and all this kind of stuff, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I've never really been into his music. Like, that first.
Escape the Fate, that first album was fucking
That first
sick.
album is like corny for what it is, but it's pretty great.
Mm.
And then Falling in Reverse, I have like never
Yeah,
found
I just-
anything in
yeah.
that.
It's never really for me, but every now and then I'll hear a Falling in Reverse song and be like, holy shit, that's actually pretty heavy.
Yeah, for sure.
What I will say is like
Mm.
his music videos are like crazy.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really has gone all out on like production values to like make shit look like stupidly cinematic, and like
Yeah,
I'll appreciate that vision.
that one with Alex Terrible, it's like basically like better special effects than some of the more recent Marvel movies.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
So yeah, I guess like being a hater does have benefits.
I do love that he's kind of the perfect example of a hater on the internet for sure.
He's made it like his career to be a hater.
Kind of like one of the last true rock stars in a way.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. At least one brave enough to like actually like provoke people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like his manager must just be like,
Oh,
whatever, dude. Like,
Mm.
I guess it's all like
well, do they love it?
it's
Like,
all money, it's all attention.
depends
Yeah.
on how you think of it and how you.
Well, I guess it's
promote
like
him as an artist.
it's a similar approach that Donald Trump has, I think.
Yeah, kind
yeah.
of. Mm. Yeah, there's something entertaining, I guess, about watching someone just lose their mind on the internet at everybody.
Yeah, well, like
we were talking just before. I mean, about earlier in the pod about technical problems and stuff. I have just run out of disk space.
Oh shit!
God.
I'm a dickhead. All right, we are back on
We're
with
back on.
the video recording.
That's all right.
I can't remember. Did we discuss it earlier in the pod about redundancy and just how many times like
Yes, we
stuff
did.
goes wrong with this?
We
We
might have been
did.
off air.
Yeah.
I don't know if we touched on it, but yeah, like we were gaming out how we want to create.
No, we definitely did it on pod.
We did? Okay,
This will
yeah.
bring it all full
Yeah.
circle for you.
What's the biggest interview you've ever fucked
Screwed
up
up.
through some technical problem?
I did a Zoom with Jeremy from The Devil Wears Prada and forgot to hit record
Oh, that was rough.
and went into like a mild kind of freak out about it.
Panic
And I was
attack.
like, I can't believe I didn't fucking hit record. And then luckily it was through Dallas Does PR. So I hit up
Yeah, Janine's always on
Shout
top.
out.
I hit up
Yeah.
Tiana, who was setting that one up in particular, and I was like, "Hey, do you
Help.
have the backup for that? Because I am a fucking moron and I forgot to hit record." And she's like, "Yeah, I got backups for you." And I was like, "Thank fucking God,
Yeah.
holy
Mm.
shit!" So if that was one that I was setting up on my own, I would have been cooked. So
Yeah.
that was fucked.
Horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was
But then, funnily enough, one of our least listened to episodes. So guess people didn't want to hear it anyway. So
Mm.
fuck it.
which is weird.
I
Yeah, what's yours?
I'm trying to think. I've had some like real close calls, but I had a similar situation to this with my Matthew Chalk episode down in Tassie, and my
Oh yeah.
laptop ran out of space, and then I was like, oh fuck, and started freaking out, and like then I, because of the way I'd set OBS up, I hadn't the file names were like the same, so I hit record again, and it started recording over the direct feed.
God.
no.
But then OBS also records like the program that has like all three or
Yes.
whatever cameras, so
Yeah.
that still stayed, but it was like the low res
Yeah.
versions. So
Yeah.
I managed to salvage it, but yeah,
Oh my God.
that's a more recent one. I've had a few nightmares like that with Triple J back in the day, where like I just hadn't hit record, or like I'd recorded over stuff on the desk, or like hadn't realized that someone had set
something
else into the
differently.
channel, and I
Yeah.
could see audio coming up and thought it was that. And
Yeah, I can't
And it was
remember.
something else.
I think you
Oh my
talked about it on
God.
one of your
with Janine, yeah.
on one of your episodes. Yeah, like it was like someone had done an interview and it was like the footy or something was
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
playing over the the recorder or whatever.
Yeah,
It was like
I
a full interview.
fucked up a whole guest host.
Oh my God.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
They
So-
came back in and redid it.
Yeah, I was
but, yeah,
gonna
it was
say.
still
Yeah.
a big waste of time, and round two was nowhere near as good. But
Yeah. It always when you go back in, it it loses steam a little bit, and you've got to
Paige and I
back
have
up.
definitely like gone like 20 or 30 minutes into an episode, realized that something's fucked up, and we're like, okay, we have to do that from the top, and then we're like trying to like hit the same beats and like have the same kind of organic kind of like flow, and like you can never capture it again.
Yeah, there was like back in the early days when it was
Yeah.
just us audio only on the couch. There was like a whole episode that we had to re-record because I did something in Audacity or something, and
Yeah.
and the whole audio was just cooked, and it was just audio. So
Yeah.
like kind of the crux of the episode.
yeah, I after that fuck up with Chalky's episode, because I got this as a 1 terabyte internal hard drive. I'm like, that's going to be plenty. Like, I'll be sweet.
Yeah.
And I just didn't even think about it. And then so I went and got a 4 terabyte one and chucked it in the second slot. But I guess for some reason I'm just an idiot, and I still haven't swapped over like the file destination
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will definitely do that now after this one.
Yeah, I have that even on my work computer. Last week I was like, why is my hard drive completely out of space? And then I realized that things were auto saving to my SD instead of my hard drive. I was like, why is this laptop running like shit? And it was because I'm an idiot.
I don't know if you're the same, Lachlan, but like you've probably always had this mindset, I guess, because like you did radio stuff for so long, but like doing the show and like making your own sausage has like now flipped a switch in my brain where I can't consume other people's stuff without like having
being critical,
well, not even critical, just having like producer brain about it. Like,
critical sometimes, like, you know, when you watch a TikTok and it's of someone like walking out a door, and then because you've created like content to an extent, all you can think about is the fact that they walked out that door and then they put the camera there and then went back in the door and then walked out the door again just for the video.
I keep seeing like all of the like behind the scenes stuff that's never shown and thinking about it, and it has like sucked some of the joy out of just organically consuming stuff. I'm way too just like producer brained with it. Like I'll listen to other
content brain.
Content brain. I'll listen to other like podcasts on like a walk or something, and there'll be like too long of a gap, and I'll be like, I would have truncated that, would have clipped out that dead audio space. What's going on there? And like, just like I can never switch it off.
No, but what's worse is people do that with our podcast.
Totally. Well, I mean, like, yeah, that's the nature of the beast.
Why did they just not say anything for like this whole 5-second beat? And you're like, oh yeah, probably should have. Yeah, probably should have edited that out.
Yeah,
I would say more stuff that I get more preoccupied about when I'm listening to other podcasts is just like, I guess, more editorial sensibilities and just like questions, and I'll hear things that like don't get that. I was like, fuck, that would have been a great thing to ask about, and they'll move on, or the host will start talking about themselves or like telling one of their stories. And
oh my God, the host talking about themselves is like a real problem in even massive podcasts where you're just like, I don't give a shit about you.
This episode should not be about you.
For sure.
You've got a guest that's got something to say, and you just went, hang on, here's the time something kind of related happened to me or whatever.
See, this is why I don't interview, because that's what I would do. I'm not a journalist.
I catch myself doing that sometimes, or like repeating like an anecdote that I've said on like another guest episode, and I'm always just like,
shut up.
Like trying to self-censor myself in real time. I'm just like, wrap it up, dog. Like you've already said that.
I've definitely done that a lot more than usual on this podcast, because I guess we're more having a conversation about podcasting.
This is the meta.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a little bit different, but yeah, if it's
we're breaking rules here.
If it's an artist telling their story, I'll try and just keep it to that.
Yeah.
And because I do find that, you know, if I have found over the years that if I try and sort of interject and be like, hey, like that was here's one of my vaguely related kind of stories, and make it more like of a two-way street, it kind of feels weird sometimes.
For sure. Yeah. Sometimes it's better to just like step back and let them take the lead.
I did like a little thing at Big Sound last year, which was like a music writers lab, and it felt kind of weird because like I wouldn't consider myself like a person at like a mentor level for like younger people or whatever, but that's kind of ostensibly why I was there. So it was very strange. But like the biggest piece of advice that I gave to people, which works for podcasts as well, because it's like interviewing specific, is to really just like listen and be able to like have a conversation with someone and, like you say, like hear like the interesting thing that they say that will make like a cool tangent or a cool story, and like not to just like read off your notes and hit like bullet point, because like they might throw you a bone that's like way more interesting. So it's like be able to riff and jump off and go do that, because that'll make like a more organic conversation, but also just like something that's unique. So that way you have like a cool angle or a cool kind of like hook for that interview. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing that I've learned over like 20 years of doing this.
Yeah, well, I did make some notes for this one. I usually make some notes just in case.
What's on the notes?
There's only one thing that I didn't end up covering.
Should we hit it?
It was just like, I guess, just in case kind of question, in case I ran out of stuff to say. But like, favorite interview that you've done for the Pitch of Discontent?
Fuck, that's a hard one. There's so many.
Oh, can I say my favorite?
Of course, yeah.
I really liked, this is like an early no video one with Jem from Speed. That was really sweet.
Yeah, Jem's lovely.
And then Andy from Thy Art.
Yep.
Also a pretty old one now.
Those were all like the first ones. It was Andy, Jem, and then Lachlan. I'm pretty sure were like the first three.
That's right. Yeah.
And so early days.
I think that those are my favorites because all of those people were like so stoked to just talk to you about music as well. So it was like, it's kind of like the dynamic you have where it's like, oh, you've done so much. You've written for like music in the Australian alternative scene for forever. And it was like, just like as your wife, just like, yeah, he's the best.
I don't know, like I have so many, but I think like, and this is another early one, so this is like before video, but when we had Skylar from Here's Legend
that was
on
a
the
good
show,
one.
like that's a band that I've been listening to for nearly 20 years. I think they're like a deeply underrated band that should be like way bigger than they are. They've always just been like your band's favorite band type level.
Totally.
And having him on the show, and particularly when we were doing the playlist format, he like really came through with like a really like interesting playlist. And it was like, this is how, you know, me and one of the other guys in the band like met. I've called the playlist like the Kmart parking lot because that's where we met. And these are the songs that we bonded over to like form the band. And I was like, oh, like you actually like you read the brief and you actually like did the work, and like you're a person that I've been listening to and like loving for like so long. So I was like, that's fucking sick that you like actually like
you got what we were going for.
Yeah, you resonated with the whole point of the show. Like that's so sick.
Yeah.
And he's just like a friendly guy, cool guy, funny guy, like just great interview.
Yeah, he's really lovely. It's actually like
And then we
super
saw
nice.
them play when they toured here, and it was the same venue on the Gold Coast that we got married at.
Yeah.
So
It was weird.
It's special.
yeah, we're like watching them on stage, and I was just like, we got married on that fucking stage. That's weird.
It's crazy.
Yeah. That's probably one. I mean, I've got heaps. I could list off way too many. We've been doing this for too long.
You don't want to like make anyone feel like they weren't your favorite.
No, they're all good.
They're all our friends.
Every
of the
interview is
pod.
special.
Yes. What about you? You've been doing your version of the show. What's a favorite?
I really enjoyed my crippling alcoholism
Yeah.
chat, because like that was like a band that I genuinely wanted to know a lot more about that I just didn't know.
I haven't seen you be that obsessed over a band in like a long time.
Yeah.
Like a band that
100%.
you're like truly like a ride or die for. And like they are such a unique band and such a like weird in a good way band that like, yeah, as soon as I saw that come up, I was like, fuck yeah, I can't believe like Lachlan like got that one. That's sick. Because they haven't done much press stuff. I haven't seen like really anything.
Yeah, no, he hasn't really done a lot, but we'd been in touch for a little while, and
Yeah, cool.
he said it was he was like, sorry if I was a bit afterwards. He's like, sorry if I was a bit nervous. Like that was like the biggest podcast I've been on. And I'm like,
Aww.
I don't know, man. I've got like 200 subs on YouTube. Like you're definitely been on a couple that have more than that. But he's like, oh no, but in terms of like the social media presence, like you've got a bigger profile than those other ones. So I was like, oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Nice
awesome.
to hear.
Yeah.
I do think that's how a lot of people consume our podcast is more
just
through
the
social
reels.
media and reels. Yeah.
I
It's really
mean,
interesting.
Yeah, I
it's on
think
Instagram, that's for
I
sure.
think
yeah.
I was talking earlier on the pod about, that first episode, putting in all those hours, and then it's like, oh, cool, I got 200 views on
Yeah.
the YouTube. And then the second episode, Jake from Health, like went and got like over 2,000 within a week. And I was
Yeah.
like, it gave me this false sense of security of like, okay, this is going to be fucking chill now.
Yeah.
And then nothing has popped off that hard since.
We've got a similar thing.
Our
yeah.
first video episode with Back from Terminal Sleep
Went
is
crazy.
still
Yeah.
like the most viral thing we've done.
Mm.
And we've had like other good episodes and like a couple that have hit like over 1,000, which is sick. But
Yeah,
like
of course.
that one is at like 17 or 18,000, still gets like 100 views like a week consistently. Like it's just constantly like in the
Yeah, I
algorithm
guess
churning
that,
over.
That band's just got a lot of hype, and there's not a ton of
Yeah.
video content like that about
Yeah.
them out there yet.
Yeah.
No.
So
Yeah.
it is weird what the algorithm, especially the YouTube algorithm, like decides is gonna like pop off. But
Mm.
We did read that it promotes your earlier posts like as a new creator. So like your second one popping off like that makes sense. It probably reached more people's like a home screen, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it was also because the reel I had for that was
It was really good.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, but like I just cut it up to like all the most absurd things that he'd said
yeah,
and just made like an out of context highlight reel.
he's such a
Yeah.
funny guy. Like
He is-
Mm.
every dude in that band is like super funny. I did like a little chat with him at Knotfest, and we ended up just talking more about like airplane food and how like
And
my
music.
personal philosophy is to like not eat the shitty airplane meals. Like I'll just fast through like a 16-hour flight, and that's what he did. And he was like fresh off the plane doing Not Fest. And we were just like, that's the approach. And like, that was the whole fucking little segment. Like, barely talked about health at all.
Not talking about
It's just a funny dude.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess my hope is that, if I just keep grinding, keep doing it every week, like it'll eventually build up enough of its own built-in audience that hopefully it just keeps going up and up and becomes something
that's
a bit bigger.
That's kind of
I guess that's the only way you can do it, right?
Yeah, that's our philosophy too. And like we are definitely guilty of like focusing on the views and the numbers a little bit too much from time to time. But like the way I look at it is like I would rather make stuff. I hate calling it content because that feels like derogatory, but like making content that is like good and stands on its own and can have some longevity. And then that way over time, like, that like, even if the views and the growth takes a while, that you haven't like sacrificed the quality to like chase a trend or like do fucking 30 different pivots to try and find the thing that works at that particular point in time. Like it's also ephemeral. Like I just don't have any interest in chasing all of these fucking tech algorithms. I just want to make cool shit.
I don't think that there's any way that our format can really do that anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of good in that sense. Like we're not going to be just like, I don't know, this week Sabrina Carpenter's viral. So like, let's do a dance to her music.
No. If you see me doing TikTok dances, like we're cooked. It's over.
He's really put his soul on the line.
No, I think, we definitely have like kindred kind of spiritual mindsets when it comes to making this sort of stuff. Like you've got a good hook for the show. People love hearing you kind of chat about your music and your connection to music and your guest connection to music. And we like talking about new music. I think I like interviewing guests and stuff. So like we'll just keep doing that.
Yeah.
We don't need to change it.
And it's just finding your people, I think, at the end of the day. Because like those viral or viral-esque moments, because we're at this point kind of micro creators, but they're great and fun and kind of crazy when they happen. But like I feel like I have a little community, and it's like going to shows and people being like, oh my God, you're the Pitch of Discontent guy. Like,
which happened at a show last night. And I was like, oh, that's fucking weird. But
nice. And it feels good because it's just like a bunch of music nerds like watching us talk about being music nerds and what music we like. And
ultimately, like we have the Patreon and we have, like it's mostly like friends and family, but we do have like genuine fans of the show. There's like a guy called Chris.
Canada.
Shout out to
Hey,
Chris. He chats to me about music in the little like Patreon DM feature every day.
Yeah.
He's just on Bandcamp and he's like, here's this demo I found.
It's Owen finding like him in Canada.
Nice. It's like having a pen pal. It's awesome. But like he's just like a random guy who likes the show.
Yeah.
So how deep into it were you before you decided to set up a Patreon?
Almost like pretty much
on YouTube, pretty much straight away.
I kind of did the two things together.
Right.
And my kind of philosophy is that like even if the growth is small, if we can do both of them at the same time, eventually the Patreon, fingers crossed, will get us to a point where that's generating enough income that we don't have to worry so much on like ad revenue once YouTube gets to a certain point. Or like trying to find sponsors and stuff. And like
it's like, I mean, you've experienced this. It's really hard to be monetized and talk about other music and have like a 10-second clip of a song in your episode.
So I don't want to have to rely on that. And like if we can build up a really small but like steady community on Patreon, that'll give us enough money to like keep the lights on. Paige can work on the show with me. And then we're only beholden to that audience. You know what I mean? Like we don't have to worry about advertisers. We don't have to worry about all of that shit. Like that independent media thing is like, I think the future.
Yeah. I have told myself that like, if I can get to 500 YouTube subscribers, I'll start a Patreon.
Yep.
Or if I'm still doing it consistently after a year, I'll start a Patreon and see if anyone cares enough to chuck a couple bucks a month.
I'll sign up for it for sure.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Hell yeah.
I mean, like that's, I subscribe to maybe I think maybe like 15 different creators on like my personal Patreon, and they're all just like podcasts that I like, that I've been consuming for years, YouTubers that I like, that I'm happy to kind of like support their content. And like, I don't give a shit on what schedule they post. You know, I'm doing it because I like them as like a personality, as like as a concept. And I just hope that people do the same for us. And then like we can change the show, we can add features, whatever, and they're just along for the ride.
Yeah. Financial flow.
Yeah. But basically like that's the kind of long-term vision for the show, is to have like a small dedicated audience that allows us to do what we do.
Yeah. And not have to, like we were talking about earlier, take sort of sponsorships, or like, you know, a band will be like, pay us this much to do this review, you know, and then feel that pressure to say it's like the sickest album you've ever heard. Like, I think the authenticity is probably like the most important thing to us. And that may be like what shoots us in the foot. Because it'd be, I mean, if we ever got that big, it'd be so easy to just be like, hey, this band's great.
Yeah.
But it kind of matters, right? And I mean, it sounds like that's what it was like being on radio.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But I think I would gladly take some sponsorship or advertising money for this if it was like something that
for sure
wasn't like, you know, like a record label or a touring company that could actually have editorial sway like that.
Yeah.
If it wasn't like a review type thing, like if you could just do an ad for a band within it, that seems fine and sick to me. But yeah, like
that's kind of the next step.
Like if Coca-Cola wants to give me $100 a month to give all my guests
Liquid
free
Death.
Coca-Cola, I'll be like, sure.
Yeah.
Drink a Liquid Death on screen. Like, I'll fucking do that.
That's shit. That's
there's stuff like that.
it's that Wayne's World bit where they're all like every scene just wearing like a different shirt or like a pizza.
Yeah. I don't know. This is like off topic, but kind of similar. Like, did you know that there was a new War of the Worlds movie with Ice Cube in it?
Only because of all the memes about how shit it is.
It's very shit, but it's also like just chock full of Amazon product placement.
Yeah, I was reading about it.
And I just like, that's the future of movies now. Is like they're just fucking ads with one like geriatric actor for like.
No, it's been like that for a while. Like you remember that one Transformer film where they're like, there's just like a huge Coca-Cola shipping container behind you, and you're like, okay.
But yeah, look, if sponsors want to like, you know, promote the show, I'm open.
Please.
Send me an email.
Yeah.
We can do that.
I will wear merch. I will do the full Nike suit. I think it's a Nike suit that Darth Wayne is wearing. At
Like an
one point.
Adidas, like corn suit or something. Yeah.
Well, we're at almost 2 hours of podcast, so I think that's probably more than enough. If there's anything else you guys would like to talk about before we wrap it up?
No, I think we covered heaps.
Like
It was a very meta podcasting episode.
Yeah, it was.
Well, thank you so much for jumping on. Appreciate it.
No worries.
And go like and subscribe to the Pitch of Discontent. Check it out. Get updated with sick new music every week.
Yep. That's what we do.
And also please go like and subscribe to this one if you haven't done so already.
Better. Share, like, and subscribe.
Do it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to Music Is My Life. This podcast is self-produced by me, Lachlan Watt. I'd like to thank Audio-Technica Australia for providing the high-quality equipment that has made this possible, as well as Patrick Galvin at Hollowbone Studio for the design. The killer theme music that you are currently hearing was written by the legends TJ Cowgill and Sam Saljuki. Catch you in the next episode.